Hey everybody, Shining here. Just wanted to make a quick mid-season of the Chosen Destiny video where I go through my dim, as you can see here, and just talk some about some weapons from this season that I've picked up, maybe some things that I've been using, some thoughts that I have, some stuff like that. This is just things that I think of off the top of my head, nothing really planned in advance. So yeah, I guess with that we'll start with this extraordinary rendition that I guess I have sitting here. Frenzy, love this perk, fantastic perk. Surplus, maybe not the best perk that you could get in that column, but I do like reloading, and I am okay with maybe not using my ability charges as much to get the most out of that reload. But honestly, even when I don't have, the full benefit from Surplus, I enjoy using it. It's fantastic. Not to mention Surplus in PvP. When you have the full Surplus benefit, it turns it into a laser beam. Like you see right here, it has a default stat of 26 stability. It feels like I have max stability when I have max Surplus stacks in PvP. It shoots like a laser beam again. Honestly, fantastic. Would I recommend this role? Not really. I mean, if you get a role, something like this with Frenzy, then, this perk maybe doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. But I like it. It's been treating me pretty nicely. I would just get yourself one of these with Frenzy and call it a day. It doesn't even matter what the other perk is. Next up, we have this Messenger with Rabbit Hit and One for All. Now, this is not a role that I think really stood out to me when I was making my original God Rolls video, but this role was really helpful when I was doing the Proving Grounds Nightfall. Rabbit Hit just letting me, get my reloads faster, One for All, letting me just proc that by hitting 3 separate targets, and then just going to Pound Town on them in the Nightfall. This pulse rifle absolutely chewed through enemies. It was fantastic. Has fantastic range, of course, with this specific role. But yeah, I honestly just really liked it. If you get a role something like this with Rabbit Hit One for All, keep it. It's worth using in a Nightfall. And it really surprised me, this role. I'm very happy with what it was able to do for me. Let's see. This was just my Desperado role. Zen Moment isn't really something I noticed a whole lot, at least when using this weapon in PvP. I think I maybe would have preferred Rapid Hit or Outlaw, but it honestly doesn't really matter just because Desperado is as awesome of a perk as it is. Not to mention High Cal. Just making it harder for people to duel you, the Pulse Rifle, and Chambered Compensator to help that recoil direction. Yeah, it's not a bad role, probably better roles, but it has been quite serviceable when I've used it. The Surplus Celerity role that I have acquired, I kept it maybe just because when I got it, it was better than the other Astral I had gotten from some time back that had threat detector or something. It just wasn't very good. But it appears that this might actually be something of a meta role next season, because Quick Draw is getting, replaced with Surplus. And on top of that, Celerity is getting, a bit of a rework next season. So it's actually something of a decent perk to be running on this, so this might be an okay Astral. If I feel like this is a, really good, worthwhile role, after, I try it out next season, maybe I'll let you guys know, but for now, this is just kind of something I have lying around, that might be helpful in the future. I don't think I've used this multi-mac. I like the idea of combining Killing Wind and Kill Clip, just to extend that range, but I'm not sure how much range we're really going to get out of the killing wind benefit. I've got Accurized in this Model 8 scope for more range benefits, and Kill Clip, I guess, probably just good for lethality. Again, haven't really tried it out, but I probably will at some point. I don't know. I feel like this particular role would maybe be better for PvP than PvE, but I'm sure it's not terrible in PvE either. Time Worn Spire. This is the best one I was able to get, at least so far. Not sure if I've found a scope I like in particular. I'm gonna have to keep scope hunting. But as a pulse rifle, I'd say Time Worn Spire really feels fantastic. I'm still not sure if I like it as much as I liked Claws of the Wolf, but maybe I just haven't found the right role yet. I think it's fantastic if you can, secure the best possible role of it. We have the Eternal Blazon that I was hunting for quite some time and finally managed to get to drop. I took it into the Saber Nightfall this week for a spin. Didn't love how it felt in this particular Nightfall, but I think maybe in longer range Nightfalls you might find some more use out of it. And just in general, I think the Rapid Hit Kill Clip combo is a pretty consistent role. It feels pretty good to use. This particular scope, the transmission, I like it, but scopes to each their own. This Igneous Hammer, I think I got maybe a 4 out of 5 on this, at least depending on preference. A Pen and Mag is actually a pretty serviceable perk, but I think I would have preferred maybe a stat boosting perk in this particular magazine column. But other than that, the combination of Quick Draw and Snapshot is something I completely undervalued when I originally talked about this gun's roles. I've been using it in PvP just for the sake of being able to duel 120 hand cannons, and it definitely holds its own. I mean, it doesn't have the nutty range that the Adept Igneous has, but it's still able to compete, honestly. Like, I would say the vast majority of gunfights, the difference between this and the Adept isn't going to directly lead to you getting killed. You also have to take into account, by the time you get to the 45 meter range or whatever the Adept Igneous can reach, these things become a little awkward to use, at least for some people. I don't prefer using hand cannons too far past the 35 meter range. By that point, I don't know. I just don't like how they feel, but this thing definitely maps. It's a very snappy roll. It feels incredibly smooth because you've got fast draw time, the perk, and fast ADS speed, the perk. And combining those two together, it just feels super fluid, completely negates, the downsides of the 120 archetype, it being as sluggish as it is by default. And I think this particular role will still be good next season, even after the quick draw changes, because I still have Snapshot to affect my ADS speed, even after the benefits of quick draw go away when I swap to my weapon. Yeah, honestly, just fantastic. Had a great time with this. I don't love 120 hand cannons, but it definitely has a place in the current meta, and for that reason, it has served me well, and I like it. What else do we have? This Far Future. So this was, again, one of those roles that I really did not consider. Led from Golden Frenzy combined. But I kept one of these Far Futures because I figured it would probably be nice to have a Solar Sniper for the Nightfalls this season, since we have Anti-Barrier Sniper. And this perk combination right here, honestly just completely surprised me because again, Frenzy really easy to activate in the Nightfalls. Um, Super convenient. And then we have Lead from Gold, which essentially allows me to just run like all heavy ammo finders and stuff and still get, plenty of special ammo, which, in a Nightfall is very, very valuable, very, very useful, and overall has just been super, super helpful. I love it. It's fantastic. I would recommend one of these, even as late in the season as it is. We're not gonna maybe necessarily have anti-barrier snipers for Nightfalls every season, but this is a very, very serviceable role for PvE. Regardless, I do not think I have a terribly fantastic role on this Adept Shadow Price. I'm keeping it around because it's the only one I managed to lock down that week. I'm not sure I have anything really to say about it other than that. This Palindrome with Outlaw Rampage, I absolutely love it. It is fantastic. I love using it. As far as hand cannons and PvE go, they have been better, but this is a very good role when you get Rampage going, because it can kind of just, keep chaining kills for you. And Palindrome in general is just a fantastic hand cannon. It feels super, super nice. And yeah, if you don't know what god roll to go for on Palindrome, start with this. You can get away with using this pretty much anywhere. I think, yeah. This was the only one of these I managed to lock down. I don't think I have anything to say other than yikes currently. Archer's Tempo Frenzy. Again, one of those super, super nice combinations, especially for something like a Nightfall, once you get Frenzy going. Just a super good bow. I'm not usually a huge bow person, but this bow felt pretty nice. I like it. I like it enough to use it. I have at least one Shadow Price with a roll I liked. This is the Clutch roll. I haven't gotten to experience this, but I think it's a pretty funny combination to have. Feeding Frenzy Swashbuckler. I think this is your maybe consistent Shadow Price roll. As far as Shadow Price goes for PvE, it's not bad, is the thing. Like, it is probably the best 450 in the game currently, but it's just so slow to kill ads that you really don't start to notice the effects of Swashbuckler until like you're maybe about to run out of the perk, unless you just start with the melee kill Swashbuckler times 5. Like, then it's somewhat noticeable, but again, it's like barely bringing it up to speed to compensate for it being a 450 in PvE. Then, yeah, until auto rifles and specifically 450 auto rifles see a buff in PvE, this thing's not. It's not great, unfortunately. Other rolls. I think this is the Clutchendrome. Not much to say there. I don't think I've gotten anything resembling a good roll on a bottom dollar, so nothing to say there. This Under Pressure High Impact Reserves Cartesian Coordinate. So, I initially said I really wasn't interested in this Rapid Fire Frame Fusion Rifle because it just, they're not really great anywhere, right? Well, I actually did go ahead and try it, at least in PvE some, and it's a fantastic feeling fusion rifle. I like it. I completely changed my mind. I think this specific role is a very consistent, fantastic roll to get. And I imagine it's not too bad in Crucible either, but it maybe doesn't have the insane like killing power that the high impacts have, which I normally prefer. But yeah, I've completely changed my mind. This is a great feeling weapon. I like it. Frozen Orbit. I managed to luck out and get this roll pretty early. Snapshot moving target. Love the way it feels in PvP. By far my favorite PvP sniper right now. Still hunting for the PvE roll. At some point I would like to determine what the best PvE Frozen Orbit is, because I think there's a lot of choices for this particular sniper. But unfortunately they just aren't dropping enough for me to really make any comparisons or, you know, try things out with it. But yeah, that's a topic for later. For now, I'll just say this is a fantastic PvP roll. And if you need a new sniper, feel free to try this one out. If you can get behind 50 zoom, it's a fantastic sniper. I'm honestly just, at this point, 100% 50 zoom gang. I love it. What else? Third Axiom. Haven't gotten to try this one out, but I think this roll has potential. I can't imagine, you know, really going wrong with the classic Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip combo, but I just haven't gotten to try this one out. Surplus and One for All. I think this was my first Shadow Price. Nothing really new to say there. Rabbit Hip multi-kill clip. I think I tried to use this sidearm a little bit. I didn't love the way it felt, but I think maybe people more enthusiastic about sidearms might be a bit more, I hate to say it, might be a bit more keen about this. God, terrible pun, I'm sorry everybody. But yeah, just not my cup of tea, at least not after giving it an initial few minutes of playtime. Nothing really to talk about here, although Surplus is probably an okay perk instead of Quick Draw. Don't think there's much going on in the power slot currently. This is the best swarm I've been able to get so far. It's an incredibly good feeling machine gun. It feels very consistent to use, but I think there's more value right now in the 7th Seraph Saw just because of its ability to generate Warmind cells, even if it is a little bit of a clunkier gun to use than the Swarm. But overall, I wouldn't say Swarm is outright terrible. Code Duello. I've kind of messed around with a number of different rolls on this. I've been liking this Impulse Amplifier Cluster roll, especially with Impact Casing, because it does like decent enough damage to PvE enemies that it's, you know, good. But clusters I don't think are, you know, the absolute best trait. But the advantage of clusters is if you wanted to use this rocket to kind of just clear out a bunch of trash ads, then you totally can do that. Whereas a Lasting Impression rocket, you really can only get away with that for boss damage. So I'd say this is not a bad roll. I like it enough. Other Code Duellos I might have, I've definitely gotten a bunch. Auto-loading Lasting Impression, this is probably by far my favorite one for boss DPS. Absolutely love it. It's really good. Highly recommend y'all get one. Field Prep Lasting Impression. So this one doesn't have Impact Casing, and again, Impact Casing is probably the best perk for outright boss damage. But if you're shooting rocket after rocket, Field Prep for the increased reload while crouching is really, really good. Especially because you not only get the reload buff, you also get the buff to your rocket reserves, which means more rockets, which means more total damage. So definitely also worth using. If you're not going the auto-loading route, definitely field prep, and probably lasting impression in this second perk column, but again, I did not land it on this one. Other rockets, that might be all of the ones that I have kept. I guess that leaves us with tomorrow's answer. This roll's interesting. I feel like this one would be maybe a decent add clear rocket because of chain reaction, but it also has impact casing for better direct impact damage against like maybe champions or mini bosses or something. Maybe not the best possible tomorrow's answer, but you can kind of just get away with using this like anywhere. And then that brings us to the last weapon, which is the linear fusion. So I haven't used this a whole lot, but I feel like Rapid Hit and Frenzy has some decent potential for linear fusion damage. I guess this one has accelerated coils for even more impact damage. So yeah, again, potential, but we'll have to wait and see if linear fusion rifles get a buff. I mean, certainly this is probably, the best roll of the weapon. I just haven't used it, so I can't really tell you where it is in the current meta. Other than that, the reserves for linear fusions maybe aren't great. I'm not really a linear fusion expert personally. And then, oh, hold on, actually. Wait, no, wrong weapon. Oh, this one has accelerated coils. Oh, that's my mistake. This actually decreases the impact damage. My bad, y'all. My other threaded needle is what has liquid coils. Yeah, I completely mixed up my perk there. My apologies. I think this one with Field Prep and Frenzy, I'm not sure if Field Prep or Rapid Hit is the way to go. The thing about Field Prep is you don't have to land crits necessarily to get the reload bonus, and it gives you a reserve bonus. But again, without testing, I'm not sure off the top of my head which perk is better. Yeah. And I guess with that, that's pretty much everything. I don't think I've missed anything. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about Season of the Chosen Weapons. A lot of great weapons this season. A lot of things that have surprised me, which is pretty good. Again, if I manage to land some better frozen orbits, I will definitely make a video on that. Because I'm very, very curious as to what the best frozen orbit roll is, and I think there's a lot of different routes you can go with rolls, but it's going to require a lot of testing. Oh, I think I might have forgotten this Brass Attack sidearm. This is another one of those weapons that I really haven't used, but I think the roll has potential. And then we don't really need to talk about salvagers since it's only one roll. Yeah, pretty good grenade launcher. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.